Well, Paul, after an early start and a lost bet, we're finally here in Portugal.
Yeah, it was a late night and an early start. I hate the combination of those two is my absolute worst nightmare.
It's a bit of a killer, isn't it? But it's really worth it.
It is.
2 hours for you.
2 hours.
You had
for
2
me.
more hours than me then.
People probably want to know what the bet is that you lost.
I don't want
Our
to.
cameraman, we were seated on row 2 in the plane, and our cameraman thought, oh no, I'm not going to have any legroom. And Alison said, no, you do have legroom on Ryanair because the front seats aren't in it. The pilot surely can't sit in row 1, but that's what she thought. Anyway, she was wrong. She lost €5.
I'm €5 down.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we've got quite a lot to look around here today.
We have, and I think we've come here to Maquinser Tech. This is in Porto. It's probably an important place to start.
Yes,
we've been doing
definitely.
quite a bit with these guys this year. Obviously, they've got the place in Bilbao and they've got their place in Barcelona. We saw them at Beam. Here in Porto, this is an event that's happening tomorrow, which is obviously Wednesday and Thursday, where they're inviting a lot of their customers and prospects to come and see their machines and talk about their technologies.
Yeah, it's every 2 years.
Yes.
They're always open, but this is good because they're live machining. So this is going to be quite a special event tomorrow, I think, for them.
Absolutely, yeah. And in a minute, we're going to go in and have a look at some of the machines that are on show. But it's been fascinating talking to Ignacio so far, isn't it, about the Portuguese
You
market.
pronounced it okay today.
I did, didn't I? Yeah, I've been training. But talking about the Portuguese market and the fact that the die and mould sector is obviously, has been in demise for some years.
It's faded a little bit, hasn't it? And the automotive industry's had quite a big effect on that as well.
Yeah, and of course that's because of what's happened in Germany and obviously around Europe. And it was 50% of this country's kind of manufacturing output, which
Crazy,
which
isn't
is
it?
huge.
Yeah.
And if you're beginning to lose that, how do you plug the gaps? And that's really what they're trying to do here in Portugal.
They're trying to regrow. Portugal is growing again, and I think it's nice to focus on Portugal for a change because there's a lot to look at here as well.
There is, and when you think of the history as well of from manufacturing base, they've got the longest fishing area,
Coastline in Europe.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
when it comes to boats and anything to do with that, and obviously their defence sector is something that they're looking at
Very
investing
big
in.
deal as
In
well.
fact, this their first drone. Was it the drone launch ship has actually been developed here?
2 weeks ago. It's just been finished off. It's just been finished off being manufactured in Romania, I believe.
yeah.
So that is pretty exciting, and it's been developed here in Portugal.
Yeah, but it was designed here in Portugal, and it's of course to protect that coastline.
Yes.
Using drones, which I guess is a really efficient way of doing
Yeah.
it. So lots of exciting stuff happening
Yes.
here. It'll be good to see customers tomorrow. We'll be bringing it across our channel. But should we go and have a look inside?
Let's go and have a look. Come on, Joe Amos,
Go on
and
then,
don't
Joe.
trip over.
Yeah. You'll be nicking the €5 back out, at least.
I've already
back
got my
pocket.
hand on those €5, mate. There's going to be an extra row on that plane.
Now, the machines we're going to see in here are actually quite familiar to a lot of the machines. In fact, even at Mac yesterday, I was looking at Matsura machines. It's just coincidental that we're here again today, and this is one of the machines that they.
Back
this
in
is the range.
Matsura again, yeah.
Yeah, the 420. So lots of technology in here.
Yeah, this isn't just, so this is the one that combines it with the normal pallets, but also with the extra turning possibilities.
But this one doesn't have the turning on it.
Oh, it doesn't?
It
So,
doesn't.
okay.
The 520 that we saw yesterday does, but this
Oh,
is the
right.
420.
Yes.
This is a 10 PC.
Yeah.
But I think they're big. I think the big kind of issue in Portugal in recent years has been that they sell a lot of single table machines and single pallet machines, lots of small job shops, and those are struggling to compete in the markets that we talk about, like aerospace and stuff like that. So now they have to go and they have to move into these markets, which is where this sort of machine lends itself.
They're using all this to break into new markets because they need to. They need to open up new segments and new sectors, don't they?
Exactly, they have to, because otherwise, they're going to struggle. But you can see it's all going together here.
It's all going
today.
on.
It's all happening. We'll look at some of the partners. We'll look at some of the machines here. You've got a Leadwell machine. This is one of their products that they supply. This is a nice.
What do we have in here? That's nice. That is. What is this?
Yeah, so it's like again from the mould and die sector, but it will be a part that there's a demonstration here with Bloom, and what they're doing is once the part has been machined, they're then checking the part so that they can just ensure that obviously all the surface is in the correct tolerances and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So they don't have to take it off, measure it on a CMM. They can do
Then
it
go
all
back
on the
in again.
machine, and they can put. If there is any
Takes away his hassle.
If there is any challenges, it can go straight back into the offsets, and then of course it can remachine with
I love
the
that.
finished part.
Anything that makes life easier.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's what they're about, isn't it?
I guess it's a lot of what we're hearing these days, which is like collectivity of people, or connectivity, but companies collaborating together, which is again a big message from Maquinser.
Yeah,
Is it nice?
and I like this one.
Yeah.
This is really, really cool, and some really nice parts coming off this one as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me grab these. And which bit goes from which bit, Paul? Which technology's going on here?
I'm just having a look. So it looks like one of the parts obviously made on this. You can actually undo that, Alison.
Can I give this an undo? Hang on a second. I'm probably going to break.
So
You
one
just
end's,
do it.
one end's made on here.
Which
and of course
bit?
is,
Do you know?
This bit.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, no,
okay.
absolutely.
That bit there.
Yeah, so you can see it's finished in the second spindle. You've got a lot of tools in this machine, a lot of capability, the flexibility to be able to finish parts really in one hit.
Yeah.
You've got to do one here and one on the back machine.
There is something else a little bit more interesting, which I like. This bit here, the ZID codes they were talking to us about earlier.
So from Zola, this is about being able to collect data immediately by using like a QR code on a tool and getting it straight from your tool measurement system straight into the machine. Going back to the days when I used to be on the shop floor, which was a long time ago, used to go over to your Zola machine,
get your piece of paper,
used to measure it, get your piece of paper,
bring
write
it over
everything down, bring it in, type it in, and if you made a mistake, there'd be an issue. Of course, that ensures that doesn't happen because all of that information is put straight through.
Taking away a bit of the human error.
Exactly, yeah, and it's connectivity again. It's connectivity.
Whatever makes the job easier, more efficient, more polished, more precise, repeatable.
And also taking operators out of the equation if you can.
They're still working.
It's that they are. Yeah. It's not that you want operators not to have jobs. Obviously, companies need to be efficient. So if they can use the technologies to do the jobs that some staff would do, the staff can be upskilled to do other things. I think exactly.
That's a bit of a worry, isn't it? So I think that's important to highlight that people are being released to do what they're better at as well.
I mean, why would you want to be taking information from there and putting it into the machine when you've got something that can do it and you can be maybe doing something else?
So they're appreciating their workers.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, why would you want to be cooking if you could go to the shops, put it in the microwave, and get the same result? Maybe.
Yeah, a bit like the lunch we had today.
Yeah, we're suffering from that.
Oh my boy, I'm so full. Joe Amos couldn't eat his, but that's another story.
No, we're going to struggle to get up the stairs in a minute.
Okay, what else do we have?
These are the three machines, these Sagami machines, different models. Again, going from sort of Swiss type lathes with lots and lots of tools. I think this is actually what
have we got going on in this one?
So this is the fixed head version. So this is like a turret machine.
Yes.
So you can see that Sagami do fixed head lathes as well as sliding head technology.
Okay, all right. And then the third part of the story, we're going over to the Mura Tech, which we were looking at the VM show, and seems to be a bit everywhere at the moment. So explain the system to me, Paul, because I'm learning.
Yeah, so this machine, twin turret machine with twin spindle, but what we often see with these is these gantries across the top.
Yes, to make it easier. Do you have to open the doors or not?
No, so the gantry will feed the machine right from the top into the front spindle or pick out of the back spindle.
Yeah.
But the speed of those gantries is incredible. And,
That's amazing.
And in a lot of senses, these machines were developed and have been really popular. In fact, there's more Mura Tech machines working in the automotive sector than any other machine tool. That's what we've been told. Which means that when these machines were developed, they were developed for really fast cycle times. One-hit machining, load, unload. And, of course, if the automotive industry is struggling, what we've got to do is diversify the machine into different sectors too. So they're relying on the repeatability of the machine, the overall performance, the power, the strength, the longevity, now to move this into other sectors.
This is the Japanese quality of it. So they talk about quality. I think that's really, really important. And that's what Maquinser and Maquinser Tech are doing for the Portuguese market as well.
Yeah, and it's you were talking to one of the guys on the Matsura earlier, and they were just talking about how this conversion between companies that were just having 3-axis machines, maybe 3 or 4 of them, and now really going into automation and buying like the MX420, which is a journey that Portugal's going on, which other countries have gone through. Yeah. This country needs to catch up, and I guess that's where Maquinser Tech is. And I think the effort's
really going in, isn't it? The effort is really going in.
Yeah.
And I don't think we appreciate enough the amount of engineering that's come out of Portugal over the years.
No, absolutely.
And they're having to adapt and everything else.
Absolutely, and the government are looking to support them as well, which is important.
Are we going to go for a run? I don't think we can do I'm going to challenge you to beat you up the stairs, Paul.
3D printing hub.
This is next. Come on, Paul, jog. Let's jog. Come on, Joe.
Get the steps in today.
That's not really what I call jogging, Paul.
No.
This is jogging. Look, this is jogging.
Don't want to have an accident.
Jogging. And we're right up in the gods now, and we're up with the 3D printing.
Let's go see if we can.
There is some fantastic stuff. We keep looking at this, and I can't stop looking at it because it's just so efficient and neat.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 3D printing. You can see various parts here before they've been finished, and then with post post-process operations
Okay.
on them.
Lovely story behind this one as well.
Oh, yes.
The prosthetics.
Yes.
That young lad that's had this
Yes,
done
there was a
for
young
him.
lad that... did he have an accident, did they say? He had an accident and they actually developed this.
5 or 6 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, it took 2 years to develop this so he could wear this, and actually, when he moves his arm,
Yeah,
the hand...
I've stolen these. The hand actually moves with it.
Moves with it. So if he wants to pick something up, he moves his arm up and his fingers tighten as well. So
and he can even ride his bike now, hopefully. I believe
absolutely.
so. But loads more diverse technologies going on in here
so
as
they'll be
well.
talking about 3D printing here tomorrow. One of the other areas here, this is actually... Oh, it's gone. Where did it go?
What's going on?
Where did the helmet go? It was
Oh
on here
no, someone's
earlier.
stolen a helmet. Well, we'll have to get that tomorrow.
What about this,
Let's
though?
use a headrest instead.
So look.
Or a drone. Headrest
So
or a
this is
drone or implants, just
So
anything.
this is a headrest.
And this is squidgy.
It's squidgy. Yeah.
Squidgy,
So
I
if
like
you
that.
think how traditionally these are made, but this is...
That's cool, isn't
it's
it?
really, really... It's kind of... Yeah, just look at what is capable with these 3D printers now.
I know. Well, I'm hoping that helmet will be back tomorrow for the people that are coming to see what's going on.
I hope so. And then there's also
We've got
this.
these over here, haven't we?
This is like from a Lumex side.
This is the metal side.
Metal printing here.
Aluminium. What other metals have they got?
Yeah, well, it can be all kinds of metals, but what's really, really interesting here is that you're creating parts in the best possible way, and you're not having to design parts in line with just how you have to manufacture them. You can design them to get the optimum strength, the optimum weight. Because with the Lumex machine, which is an additive subtractive machine, you can print, I think it's layers of 5 microns.
Yeah.
You print and then you machine.
Yes.
And then you print again and then you machine. So as you're layering up, you're essentially finishing a part, but if you need like lots of intricacies, lots of features internally, you do that in the whole process.
You're not going back, so you're doing the whole thing's all being done in one go. You're not doing it and then going back and redoing it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's why that technology is it's enabling companies to manufacture for the future, I guess, manufacture parts in the best possible way.
Absolutely.
And as we look over
this is what they're all going to be seeing tomorrow.
Yeah. So if we see here, obviously we've looked
Minus
at the machines. We've got the partners down the right hand side. Alison, they've got like Toolvend, Iscar. We talked about Zola as well. Solid Cam, and then SMW. So people from
some big names in here as well.
Yeah,
just quality, isn't it?
Cutting oils and
all
fluids.
Of that.
So everything here to be seen in Porto. We'll be here tomorrow, and we'll be broadcasting from or creating content from here, and talking to actually the customers that are coming. So we want to find out more about that Portuguese market, find out more about Maquinser Tech. So looking forward to it.
The future of engineering as well, we were talking about. Just one last little thing, we were talking about the university, so I think that's a really important point to finish on, and they should be coming here as well tomorrow.
Yeah, well, they have a really good education base here in Portugal for teaching their youngsters, but what was happening is they are taking their knowledge and they're taking their qualifications and going to different countries, which is a problem.
So sad, isn't it?
It is. So they really want to, I think the government and companies like Maquinser Tech want to encourage their youth to be entrepreneurial, develop businesses. The government need to invest to allow it to be, advantageous for someone to create a business and work here from Portugal. So it's a country that's definitely on the up.
It is on the map.
It is, and I guess with what's happening in defence, they've got to increase their spend on defence up to 5% with a NATO thing. So, that's going to mean that they're going to need to manufacture more. So it's a very interesting time. So
engineering's coming this way.
It is.